4 out of 7 seeds from a plain supermarket apple will, sprout roots at home in a jar, spending like nothing, $0. Not $40 for a grafted sapling from the nursery, not even $1 for a seed packet. Nothing. You basically cut the apple open, pull the seeds out, set them up the right way, and about a week and a half later, you've literally got a living plant with real roots pushing out of it, ready for soil. So look, here's exactly how it works. Start with a very ripe apple. The riper, the better, basically, because a fruit at full ripeness means the seeds inside have had, all the time they need to develop properly. An apple picked too early carries seeds that aren't ready yet, and immature seeds won't germinate reliably no matter what else is done. When cutting, keep the knife at about 3 or 4 centimeters deep and work around the outside of the fruit. Straight through the center. The seeds sit right in the middle of the apple, and one careless cut through a seed is honestly enough to end it right there. Score the perimeter all the way round, then just, twist the 2 halves apart by hand. The seeds come out completely intact. One apple typically gives around 9 seeds. So set them on a cloth napkin, fabric only, not paper towel. Paper towel, disintegrates, sticks to the seed coat and causes problems the whole way through. Fold the cloth loosely over the seeds, mist it with a spray bottle until it's, evenly damp but not soaking. Then seal everything inside a clear, airtight container. Glass or plastic, it makes no difference. Find a spot with strong indirect light. No direct sun hitting the glass, right? And just leave the whole thing alone. Around 10 days later, so open the container and check. In a typical batch of 7 seeds, 3 or 4 will have produced roots close to 3 centimeters long, with the cotyledons already, starting to push apart. 1 or 2 more might show a shorter root, around half a centimetre, still moving, but early. The rest might look exactly as they did when they went in. With those, what's being looked for isn't progress yet, it's basically the absence of mould. No mould on the cloth, no mould on the seed, means they're alive and, still working through it. Those get sealed back up and given more time. Check the cloth moisture while the container's open. If it's drying out, right, a couple of extra mists before resealing keeps conditions right. The seeds with proper roots go into soil, so a pot around 10 centimetres across works well. Fill it with peat moss or a good loose potting mix, something, light and well draining. Make a hole 3 to 4 centimetres deep at the centre. Lower the seed in, root pointing down, shoot pointing up. That orientation is honestly the one thing that has to be exactly right. Cover lightly with soil, water gently, and place it somewhere with good indirect light. Keep it out of direct sun for the entire first year. In those first weeks after planting, the soil should stay, consistently damp, but never waterlogged. Same logic as the cloth. Too dry and the seedling stalls, too wet and, the root rots. 2 days after planting, the tip breaks through the soil surface. The cotyledons, the 2 halves of the seed, open up above ground. By the 3rd day, the shoot stands, close to 2 centimetres tall, and the growth is clearly moving fast. 24 hours later, it's more than doubled. By the 5th or 6th day, the cotyledons have fully spread and the seed casing has basically dropped away on its own. Between those two first leaves, the real first leaf is already forming, tiny and pale, and honestly almost easy to miss. That's, where the tree actually starts. At 2 months, the plant sits around 8 centimetres tall, with, 4 proper leaves beyond the first pair. At 3 months, it's closing in on 10 centimetres, the stem visibly thickening, the leaves getting bigger, the whole plant like picking up real speed week to week. At 6 months, it clears 20 centimetres, leafy and full, firmly past the seedling stage. At 8 months, it's past 25 centimetres with real branching underway and, the stem gaining real substance. Most people who started the process by that point have, stopped being surprised and started thinking about where this tree is going to live permanently. A $40 nursery sapling and a tree started from a piece of fruit already in the kitchen. What separates them is basically a jar, a cloth, and a couple of weeks of leaving it alone. The people who figure that out don't, tend to forget it. If this is the kind of thing worth holding on to, subscribe here, and the next one won't, slip past. Subscribe now. Once the trunk diameter hits about 1 centimetre and the tree clears 1 metre in height, right, grafting becomes a real option. That's, the point where a specific variety gets locked in, where the fruit stops being a genetic unknown and becomes something that was, actually chosen. Grafting sounds more complicated than it is. Once it's been watched done, even once, it's like one of the easier things to pick up in all of home growing. By that stage, the root system is already strong and deep. The graft just takes what the tree has spent months building and basically redirects it. From there, the tree grows on its own schedule. A healthy apple raised from seed can honestly reach 4 metres or more at full size. Once it matures enough to flower, usually, a few years in, the flowers come back every season without any extra effort. Every one that gets pollinated becomes a fruit. The harvests grow larger with each passing year, and the fruit gets better alongside them. Bigger, more flavour than anything sitting on a supermarket shelf. Season after season, from a seed that cost, nothing, pulled from fruit that was already on its way to the bin. There's probably, one of those seeds in the kitchen right now inside an apple that was going to be cut for something else anyway. The industry has, spent decades counting on people not bothering, banking on the idea that telling people it's too complicated is basically enough to keep most of them reaching for the wallet instead of the jar. 2,000 years of this working across cultures and continents says that bet was always off. It still is. You already know what to do with that apple.